Insemmilkom nilqakom għal programm ieħor ta' Flusek. Illum ser nibdew il-programm billi nitkellmu fuq kumpanija li għadha kif ħabbret il-ħruġ tal-isma tagħha fuq il-Borża ta' Malta, Hili Properties PLC. U se ngħaddu biex nintaqgħu mal-ewwel mistieden tagħna s-Sur Pier Luca Demajo li huwa Chairman ta' din kumpanija. Pier Luca, welcome to Flusek.
Thank you for having us and thank you for this opportunity.
Pier Luca, Hili Properties is offering to the public 50 million worth of shares in the company. This is not the first time that the company has approached investors. In fact, the company already has a bond on the market, but now it's the first time that it's offering shares to investors. First of all, maybe you can start by telling us about the business, what the business of the company consists of.
Sure. Let me start by telling you that Hili Properties is a simple business. It's a simple and straightforward business. We're not a development company, so we don't buy real estate in order to sell it later on. We are not a speculation company, so we do not buy real estate today to sell it tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Hili Properties owns and maintains a diversified portfolio of real estate over a number of European cities. And the important thing about this is the diversification. So we're diversified not only from a geographical point of view, but more importantly, we're diversified from the use of these properties that the tenants make. Yes, because they're in the health care sector, they're in the retail sector, office space, restaurants, and so on and so forth. So this diversification makes us, what I would say, resilient and low risk.
What is the strategy of the company and its business model?
Again, as I said before, nothing complicated. What we do is we invest in long-term cash flows in the real estate sector. So what we do is we make sure that when we invest in these cash flows, we have good tenants already in the premises so that we start receiving revenues from day one and that we have proper checks and balances against these. Cornerstone of the strategy and the business model and the application of this is the research that we do. So we invest a lot of time, a lot of energy in doing a lot of research. And obviously, we don't do that by ourselves. We do that also with the resources of our parent company, which has invested in a number of different countries, and through a wide network of specialist professionals with whom we exchange information, with whom we verify information. At that point, obviously, then we put everything together, analyze, put it against our checklist of what yields and what the duration of rents we have and so on and so forth to make sure it fits our model. Then our corporate governance kicks in, and therefore we put together all the due diligences, independent valuation, and all that. Then we acquire the property, and then the real work starts because then we have to always maintain that portfolio of assets, understand which ones are growing, which ones have potential, and always make sure that the tenant is well looked after.
You're referring to the properties. Can you give us some details on the properties that the company owns and where they are situated and the different categories of the portfolio?
Sure. Number one, I would say please refer to the website, because on the website you've got the full valuations, locations, and all the details of the properties. But
in more detail, obviously.
In a nutshell, we have 115 million euros worth of real estate, which is fully owned by Hili Properties. And these are split into three main geographical areas. We've got the Baltics, we've got Romania, and we've got Malta. That is where we're invested at the moment. Baltics with our shopping centers, which have always the supermarket, which is the anchor tenant, 6 shopping centers, I should say, and a number of restaurants. Romania, where we have a beautiful new building which houses a hospital, which is the most important private healthcare group within the Romanian capital. 18,000 square meters of building, that is. Yes, recently built in 2015. And then obviously Malta, where we have some office spaces and more restaurants. A total of 75,000 square meters of real estate. And obviously it doesn't stop there, because at the moment we have plans to expand in Poland, where we have found some lovely property with an existing tenant, a well-known DIY, global renowned tenant. And the same for Lithuania, where we have found also another perfect property with the right yields, long-term contracts with another globally known tenant in the logistics industry. So we grew diversified, and we plan to diversify even more in our future, because we believe that that is what gives you a lot of resilience and low risk.
Interesting. If we talk a bit about the financials now, on average, what has been the revenue and the profitability of the company in recent years, and what impact has the pandemic, COVID-19, had on your company?
Okay. Again, detailed financials on the website. Simply said, I will start with COVID. Obviously, when COVID hit, it was a shock for all of us. And one thing I can say today, when we're hopefully towards the tail end of COVID, is that the company, thank God, did not suffer. If you look at our figures, you will see that our revenue has not really changed over COVID. I would go further, and I would say that COVID actually gave us an opportunity to change our relationship with our customers, who maybe in the past were more like tenants with a rental agreement.
Okay.
Today they're more like partners who share in our long-term vision. So COVID, I think, has done some good in that respect. We haven't suffered, and I can say it clearly from the figures, because when you look at our books, out of the 75,000 square meters that we have, 99% of that is fully rented. And more importantly than that, we have what we call an average remaining lease of properties, which is of 8.8 years. In other words, we have secured income for another 8.8 years from now. So, you know, I would say that it is a good opportunity. Revenue stands at just above 8 million currently, moving on to 12 within the new investments, and profitability at about 5 million, moving on to 8.
With regards to the assets of the company and the net debt level, what can you tell us about that?
115 million euros worth of assets that really fully owned exist today. So we're not counting the upsides of those assets. And the net debt that with the IPO should level out at about 33% of total capital per million.
Okay. If we go now, we look at the initial public offer now, the share issue. What is the purpose of this initial public offering?
Simple. As I said in the beginning, we're a simple company without too many complications. Our income comes from net yields, which vary between 6 and 8%. Our costs are fixed, so they don't grow every time we buy another real estate property. And we have proven that we have a good business model, which has been profitable. Yes, profitable for the shareholder who has received dividends, and the company has grown. What we want to do is to do more of the same with a larger capital base and therefore a larger asset base. So we want to do what we know how to do best.
Okay.
In a bigger way.
And has the company set a dividend policy?
Yes. I'll say 3 things on that. Number one, that the shareholder has given a 7% discount on the shares to make this IPO as attractive as possible. So we've gone from 29 to 27 cents per share.
Okay.
Secondly, that the board has committed to a 4% minimum net dividend.
4%?
4%.
Okay.
And that is important because it allows us to really be well in this market. More importantly to me, the shareholder has shown great confidence in this business, because a month ago he decided to invest another 18.5 million euros into this business. So this is not an IPO for a shareholder to exit, take the money off the table. You know, this is a shareholder that really believes in the business, has invested even further in the business, and wants to reach better goals in a shorter period of time by having some public funding.
What should prospective investors expect in the future?
Simply put, again, we didn't build this IPO. The valuation of the company was not built on some multiple of EBITDA or on some future earning of some project or something like that. We value the company on what we have today. I think an investor looking at markets today, especially with what is going on with inflation and all these things, would want something which is at least assured, yes, a constant revenue, and peace of mind. If there's one thing that I believe Hillier Properties can really do, is to give the peace of mind and the constant return.
Pier Luca, thank you very much for being with us today. I augur you and your company all the success in the future and hope to see you again on Flusek.
Thank you very much.
Ħanamlu waqfa qasira ta' ftit minuti għal reklami, ibqgħu magħna.